All right, let's talk about something that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you. We're diving into a tool that promises to clean up the creative, and let's be honest, sometimes messy world of coding with AI. So if you're using Anthropic's Claude, you know it's incredibly powerful. But you also know that workflow can get a little chaotic. We're going to look at a tool called CodePilot, a native desktop client that wants to fix all of that. I mean, you know the drill, right? You've got your terminal over here, a browser tab for Claude over there, plus your IDE with all your project files open. You're constantly jumping between windows, copying and pasting code snippets, trying to remember which files to feed to the AI. It works, sure, but man, is it fragmented. It just slows you down.
But what if you could just pull all of that into one single, clean interface? What if your AI chat was just as integrated into your project as your file explorer? Well, that's exactly the promise of CodePilot.
This quote from the project's own GitHub page really says it all. CodePilot isn't trying to be a new AI model. Nope, it's building the focused visual command center that should have existed all along. This is all about changing the whole game, from a clunky command line experience to a true integrated desktop app. So what does this command center actually look like in practice? Well, this is where CodePilot really starts to shine, because it weaves together the conversation, your project's context, and all the user controls you need into one beautiful view. So at its heart, of course, is the conversation. But CodePilot takes this way beyond just a simple chat box. You get responses streaming in real time, so the whole thing feels super fluid and natural. Code blocks, they're properly syntax highlighted, which, is an absolute must. And this is huge. All your conversations are saved locally in a SQLite database. That means you can create, archive, and resume sessions whenever you want, so you never lose that brilliant train of thought. But this is where CodePilot goes from a nice tool to something you really can't live without. It's project aware. For every chat session, you just point CodePilot to your project folder and boom, you get a live file tree right there next to your chat. This means Claude isn't just answering some random question in a vacuum, it sees the full context of your work. You can even drag and drop images for vision analysis, asking Claude to build a UI component based on a quick mockup you drew. It's a total shift from a Q&A bot to a real coding partner. And look at the level of control you get. This is brilliant. You can switch between Claude models on the fly. Maybe you use the big, powerful Opus model for a really complex problem. Then you can switch right over to the faster Haiku for a quick follow-up. You can even define your own reusable skills with slash commands, which is kind of like creating your own custom superpowers tailored to your specific workflow. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. The developer community is definitely paying attention. With over 1,800 stars on GitHub, that's a pretty clear signal that CodePilot is solving a real nagging problem for a lot of people. This is an open source project with some serious momentum behind it. Now, for all my fellow developers watching, you're probably getting curious about what's actually making this thing tick. So let's pop the hood, because the tech stack here is just as modern and slick as the problem it's solving. Yeah, we're seeing a really solid, familiar foundation here. It's built with Electron, wrapping a Next.js app, a super popular way to build modern desktop apps. The UI is put together with Radix and Shaden/UI on top of Tailwind CSS, which explains why it looks so polished and feels so good to use. This is a stack that just screams quality and good engineering. And this little data point right here, it speaks volumes. The project is almost entirely written in TypeScript. That tells you right away that the code base is built with stability and scalability in mind. This isn't just a weekend project, it's a robust tool you can rely on for your daily work. Okay, so you've seen what it is, you've seen how it's built. Now for the fun part. How do you get this thing running on your own machine? Well, the good news is it's actually pretty darn straightforward. First up, you'll need the basics, a recent version of Node.js and NPM. But the most important piece of the puzzle is making sure you have the Claude Code CLI installed and that you've already logged in. CodePilot actually uses this official tool from Anthropic to talk to the AI, so it has to be authenticated and ready to rock. Once you have those prerequisites sorted, it's the classic three-step dance that pretty much any developer will recognize. You just clone the repo from GitHub, pop into the directory and install the dependencies, and then run the development script. That's literally it. The Electron app will fire up and you're ready to go.
Ooh, and one quick heads up. Because the app isn't officially code signed by Apple or Microsoft yet, your computer is probably going to throw up a little security warning. Don't worry, this is totally normal. On a Mac, the easy way around it is to just right-click the app and choose Open. If you're on Windows, you'll see a smart screen thingy, and you can just click More Info and then Run anyway. Super common for community-built software.
So there you have it. That's CodePilot. It's a tool that takes the raw, incredible power of Claude and wraps it in a thoughtful, project-aware interface that just makes sense. It's about finally moving away from that disjointed copy-paste workflow to something truly integrated, which leaves us with a final question to chew on. How could a dedicated app like this fundamentally change the way you code with AI?